So let's do the hands-on. So first what we'll do is that we'll check the IAM role which is attached to the cluster. Then I will load the orders table using a single file of approximately 9 GB or 9 gigabytes. Then I'll split the file and then load the orders table again. After splitting, each file would be approximately 1 to 1.2 gigabytes. So then we'll check the system tables for the status of the load or copy command, and also we'll check a few options in copy commands. Before running the copy command, I want to show you the files. What I have done is that I'm using only one file for orders underscore 1.csv, a size of which is approximately 9 GB. And I have split this file into smaller files like order underscore 1 underscore 1 to order underscore 1 underscore 9. So approximately 9 files are there. I can remove one of them. So a size of each file is around 1.1 GB. This is actually not needed. I'll delete this particular file, which is on order underscore 1 underscore 8, size of which is only 97 bytes. Seems like it has only one record. So let me go ahead and delete that. So I have 8 files. Why 8 files? Because we have 4 slices. So I have 2 compute nodes, dc2.large, and each node has 2 slices. So there are 4 slices, and the input file or the number of input file is a multiple of 4. So it is 8, from underscore 1 1 to 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 9. In the command sheet, I have mentioned how you can split the file. If you do not want to run this command, anyway, I have provided the split file in the directory also. You can download it from there. But if you want to do it yourself, these are the commands. So what you have to do is that you have to copy the file from S3 to your EC2 instance, which you have created in your public subnet. After that, you'll have to split the file into 8 with approximately these many lines each, and this is the command. Make sure to run the no hoop before the split. So this is the actual command of the file, and the files will be created with the names XAA, XAB, so on and so forth. So you'll have to change the names from XA to order underscore ones, etc. Right? So, and then you'll have to copy the smaller files into a folder named orders underscore 1 underscore split, and your bucket information. So all the commands are provided. So if you want, you can run these commands by yourself, or else I have already provided all these files, and you can use these files individually. So you can download and run it. So first what I'll do is that I will run the copy command with orders underscore 1.csv file, which is 9 GB, and then I will use this orders underscores 1 underscore split, which are already split as per the number of slice. So what would happen in the first case? In the first case, the copy command would split the file and then load it, and will capture the load time, and we'll do the same. We'll run the copy command again, but this time giving the folder name, because the files are already pre-split, and we'll see what the difference of the copy command is, or what the difference of the execution time is. So this is the setup, and after it is done, the first thing that you have to do is that you have to check the IAM role associated with the Redshift cluster, because we'll be using that IAM role while running the copy command also. So if I scroll down, and in the properties tab, you'll see the IAM role in the cluster permissions. This is the associated IAM role, and this IAM role was created before creating the cluster. This is the first thing that we had done before creating the Redshift cluster. And if I open this IAM role actually has full access to S3. This is the role, data engineering on AWS Redshift S3 full access role. So if you see, it has S3 full access role, and it has all the actions on all the S3 resources. Again, it is a predefined role provided by AWS. If you want, you can create your own policy also. We have not done it. And in the trust relationship, it is trusting the Redshift service, redshift.amazonaws.com. So this is the role that has been associated with the Redshift cluster, and we'll be using this exact role ARN to run the copy command. Now, if you go to the editor, I have dropped all the tables. If you see in the 3IAM database in retail schema, there's only three tables actually. Orders table, orders two table, and I have dropped all the other tables. Order volume details is still there because you might want to use it later on. So as of now, I have created this order table, and this is the syntax of how do you create the table. And the drop has to happen in a sequence. So I have provided the sequence in the command sheet. If you are dropping and you are following along all the hands-on and you have created the tables for the previous hands-on, please go ahead and drop the tables as mentioned in the command sheet, and then go ahead and create this orders table. Now once the orders table is created, I will load this orders table using copy command. I'll load this file orders underscore CSV, whose size is approximately 9 gigabytes. So this is the copy command, copy retail.orders from S3. You'll have to provide the bucket name, the folder name, and the orders underscore one.csv. And here you'll have to provide the Redshift cluster IAM role. The format is CSV because it is a CSV file. And inside of the file, the timestamp that the file was created is this. So if you see, this is the format of the timestamp, YYYY MMDD. There's a string with T, so that's why I have mentioned T here, and then hour, minutes, and seconds. Why have I mentioned the time format? Because this particular time format in the file is not matching with the default time format that is supported by Redshift. So while running the copy command, I'll have to mention what time format the file has. So now what Redshift will do, or what the copy command will do, it will convert the time format from this to the one that is supported by Redshift's timestamp data type. Then you have ignore header 1. Why I have put ignore header? Because all the files have headers. So if you load the file and you load it with the headers, it will give you error because we have integer data type, timestamp data type, decimal data types, and the headers are in strings. So it will give you error. So that's why I have mentioned ignore header 1, meaning the very first line is a header and I'm asking copy command to ignore the first line of the file. Now I'll replace this with the URI of this particular file, and I'll replace the IAM role also with this. So let's see, if I run using a single file, how long does it take? So let me execute this. Now it would take some amount of time. I'll pause the video and come back when the load is done. Okay, so the load is completed. So if you see here in the result, load into table orders completed, 100 million records loaded successfully. So this file had 100 million records and all the records were loaded. And how long did it take? It took approximately 7 minutes and 12.5 seconds, 7.5 minutes approximately. So now what will I do is that this is using a single file. And now I will create another table wherein I will use the copy command to load multiple files which are pre-split based on the number of slices that we have. So we have 4 slices and we have 8 files pre-split, and I'll use the same copy command, but before that I'll not load it into the same table because then we'll have duplicate orders. Now let's do that anyway. So now here I'll change the bucket, and if I go to the bucket, I want these files to be loaded. I'll copy the URI of only one file, and what will I do now is that I'll replace this, but instead of .csv I'll just mention order underscore one underscore. So this is a prefix which is contained in the orders underscore split. So there are 8 files and all those 8 files would be loaded. Everything would remain the same, nothing changes. So let me go ahead and execute this query and see how long does it take. The IAM role is the same, the format is CSV, time format is also same because it is the same file that I have pre-splitted. And now let me execute this command and see how long does it take. I know we'll have duplicates, that's fine. Let the copy command complete. I'll pause the video again and come back when the load is done. Okay, so the load is complete. It loaded approximately 100 million rows, 9 rows less than 100 million rows. And it took 6 minutes and 8 seconds, a little less than when I use the complete file. Now, you might say that the time difference is not that much, but actually it is, considering the node type. And we are using DC2.large, which has only 2 vCPUs, and each slice is getting 1 vCPU. So considering the size of the node, it is pretty significant. And if you increase the size of the node, so let's say if you go to RA3, this difference would be higher. Now the next thing is that, okay, load is complete, so this is where it is running, you are seeing it here. Now typically you will not check the execution time here. So how do you find out the details of the load that has run? So I have told you the system tables, and these are the system tables: sys load detail, sys load history, and stl load commits. I typically use the first two. So if you do a select star and order by start time, it will show me the details of the load that has happened. The user ID is 100 because I'm using query editor v2. This is the query ID, and this is the file name. So if you see orders 1 to orders 9, this is the byte scanned, line scanned, etc., and splits scanned. So how many splits were there? So this single file were also split 18 times. Okay, so this is the start time, and then it ended in 1838. So a single file took 5 minutes and all of them ran parallelly. So this is the beauty of running the copy command using pre-split file. Now if I go back to the previous one, which is this particular record 145, and if I see, this is the orders underscore one file. This is the file that I had loaded, and it loaded 100 million rows, and the split was 145. So the file, a single file, was split 145 times. Now here the files were also split, but each file was split 18 times and they run parallelly. And in this case, it started at around 1821, ended at 1826. So there's a little bit of time difference, but as I said, it would increase as we increase the size of the instance. Now the other table is sys load history, and here you can find the information about all the loads that has already run. So currently we actually ran 3 loads, on 2 on orders, and I had running copy command on orders 2 tables also, and all of them got completed. And start time, end time, duration, this is in microseconds. So for this one took 349 seconds, and which was pre-split, and without splitting it took 387 seconds. And these are the data sources. So you can actually see whether it was a split or not, because here I'm using prefix orders underscore one underscore. So that means it was a prefix, but here it is the exact file orders underscore one dot csv. Then it tells you the file format, the number of rows loaded, the amount of bytes loaded, source file count, how many files were loaded, source file bytes, file count scanned, file byte scanned, so on and so forth. So you can get fair amount of detail from this sys load history. And most of the times I use this once a load is complete, because it gives you a comprehensive details about the copy command that you have run. Then finally we have this stl load commits. It tells you the query, the corresponding slice, which slice is using what files. Okay, it is showing an older record. Let me order it. Let me sort it by the current time. Okay, so this is the file orders underscore one split 9. So if you see this 9, a single file was loaded by multiple slices. So slice number 1, slice number 0, order 7 were also loaded by slice number 1 and 0, so on and so forth. So slice number 2, slice number 3 loaded some of the files, etc. So you can find fair amount of details here also. So these are the 3 tables using which you can look at the details of the copy command that you have run. So that's all about copy command. Now there's one more thing in copy. Let me go back to the command. So I'm using the file in the S3 bucket, in a single bucket, in a single folder. But you might have scenarios wherein there are multiple files in different folders, maybe in different buckets also. So how do you load that? So do you copy the files from multiple buckets to one bucket, or multiple folders to one folder, and then run the copy command using this? Or there's some other way? Obviously, the one that I have described is not optimal. And Redshift copy command provides an option to load a particular table from different locations. And that's what manifest file is. Now in manifest file, what I'll do is that I will load an 18 GB of file. So I'll create something called a manifest file and then load it. But before that, let's see what manifest file is.